सहना भवतु सहनो भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। We'll chant Atma Shatakam. Mano buddhyahankara Cetani naham Nacha shrotra jihve न च घ्राणनेत्रे न च व्योमभूमिर्न तेजो न वायुः चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् न च प्राणसंज्ञो न वै पञ्चवायुः न वा सप्तधातुर्न वा पञ्चकोशः न वाक्पाणिपादौ न चोपस्थपायु together चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूपः न मे द्वेषरागौ न मे लोभमोहौ मदो नैव मे नैव मात्सर्यभावः न धर्मो न चार्थो न कामो न मोक्षः चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं न पुण्यं न पापं न सौख्यं न दुःखं न मन्त्रो न तीर्थो न वेदा न यज्ञाः अहं भोजनं नैव भोज्यं न भोक्ता चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूपः न मृत्युर्न शङ्का न मे जातिभेदः पिता नैव मे नैव माता न जन्म न बन्धुर्न मित्रम् गुरुर्नैव शिष्यः चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूपः अहं निर्विकल्पो निराकाररूपो विभुर्व्याप्य सर्वत्र सर्वेन्द्रियाणां सदा मे समत्वं न मुक्तिर्न बन्धः चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतः चार्थेष्वभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयः यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा सत्यं परं धीमहि श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नमः। यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतमपेतकृत्यम् पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवोऽभिनेदुः तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये. Now we enter into the next chapter, and the content of this chapter is how Dhritarashtra attains his death. So chapter begins like this. Vidurji, who is the younger brother of Dhritarashtra, while the war was going on, he had left for pilgrimage, Tirtha Kshetra. So he was very much desirous of gaining self-knowledge, and he gains it from Maitreya Rishi. So during his pilgrimage itself, he had come to know the end result of the war. And so gaining all this information, at last he comes back to Hastinapur. So when Vidurji comes, all the family members, the Pandavas, their relatives, all of them gather to receive him because they loved him so much. With tears of affection, they surrounded him because for a long time he was absent in the family. So after taking rest, giving him good food, etc., all of them surrounded, and then Yudhishthira started asking questions. So here the point to be remembered, when Bhishma Pitama was dying, without any invitation, all the Rishi Munis came there. Correct? When Krishna was departing from Hastinapura, again people came showering their love and affection. But then when Duryodhana was lying down in the battlefield, dying, nobody was there. So what has to be understood from this? When you give love to others, you receive love. People also love you. So if you find that nobody is loving you, who has to be blamed? There are some people who always say, nobody loves me, nobody likes me, nobody takes me seriously. So who has to be blamed? Our own immature personality. Because of our immaturity, somewhere we are hurting others through our words. So naturally people will keep us away. So from all this we come to know Vidurji was highly respected and loved by everyone. These are the lessons which are not told, but you have to understand. You will be loved when you stick on to truth and when you love everyone. Right. Now continuing the story. So everyone gathered around. Yudhishthira was seated at his feet. And then Yudhishthira asked this. What did Yudhishthira say? Apismarathano yushmat pakshachaya samedhitan vipadganadvishanyadehe mochitayat samatrakaha. Oh Father, we can't forget how you took care of us. So many tragedies had happened to us along with our mother, Pandavas and mother. We can't forget how you have taken care of us. Just like a mother bird taking care of its little ones under its protective wings, you had taken care of us. And it's a fact, if you read Mahabharata, that Lakshagraha, Pandavas The Kauravas were planning to burn the Pandavas in that Lac palace. It was Vidurji who designed an escape route for all of them. So he employed one person to dig a tunnel, and through the tunnel all these Pandavas had escaped. So it was all because of Vidurji. Vidurji had a great affection for Pandavas. By the way, you must know who Vidurji is. Who is Vidurji? He is none other than Yamaraj. He is none other than Lord Death. Because of one Shapa, he was born as Vidur. So let me tell you that story. There was one Rishi called Mandavya Rishi. So one day when he was doing tapas in the forest, he was just seated near his ashram. Some of the king's soldiers came there searching for some thieves. So these thieves, knowing that the soldiers will catch us, so these thieves, what they did, whatever the stolen goods were, they put it in the kutia of the Rishi, and they vanished from there. The soldiers came, they asked Mandavya Rishi, did you see those thieves? Mandavya Rishi was silent because he was in tapas. So therefore, these soldiers, they went and searched inside the hut of the Rishi, and there they found all these stolen goods. So they concluded that definitely this Rishi is a fake Rishi. He is part of the other thieves. So thus, all the thieves along with the Rishi was caught. And what was the punishment given? The Trishula was pierced through them, and they were left there to die. They were hung in Trishula upside down, and they were left there to die. That was the punishment given by the king. 1 day passed, 2 days passed, 3 days passed. The thief died on the trident itself. This Mandavya Rishi was not dead. 7 days over, this Rishi was alive. And the king understood that this is not an ordinary person. Immediately he went there, he removed that trident, Trishul, and then prostrated to this Rishi and said, "O Rishi, please forgive us, don't curse us. Unknowingly we did this mistake." The Rishi said, "It is not your fault." The Rishi straight went to Yamaraj and then asked, "O Lord Death, why did you give this punishment to me? What was the mistake I have done? Definitely it has come out of karma phala. So you must be knowing what kind of karma I have done in this birth or in the past birth, because of which I had to go through this pain." So then Yamaraj said, "O Rishi, in your previous birth you had done this mistake. What you used to do as a child was, you used to take this darbha grass, and then you used to collect these flies, and then you used to poke them with this darbha grass, and then you used to leave them to die. Collect these flies and pierce it. This was the mistake you did in your childhood, and that is why you have to pay this punishment." Then the Rishi said, "Yamarajji, how can you make this mistake? Any child is egoless. A child below 12 years is egoless. So naturally, any action done by a child cannot be considered as an action. Action can be considered an action only when there is a doership involved. For a child, there is no doership, so naturally there should not be any enjoyership. Yaha karta bhavati, sa eva bhokta bhavati. The doer alone can be the enjoyer. But as far as a child is concerned, there is no doership. So how can you give this punishment to me?" Yamaraj was silent. Then the Rishi said, "Okay, I curse you for 100 years. You go back to earth and be born as a Shudra, low caste." So this was the curse of Mandavya Rishi, and then Yamaraj had to come down and he had to be born as a Shudra. So Vidurji was born to a servant maid of Ambika and Ambalika through Vedavyas Rishi. Vidurji was extremely righteous, because he was none other than Yamarajji only. He was the one who was guiding Dhritarashtra in all the matters. In fact, if Dhritarashtra had listened to Vidurji, everything, the whole Mahabharata war could have been avoided. When Duryodhana was born, Vidurji could see very clearly bad omens everywhere. So he had advised Dhritarashtra, oh my dear brother, you throw away this child. This child will only bring calamity to the entire dynasty. He had advised. But Dhritarashtra, out of his love for his child, did not pay any heed to his advice. So all these stories you will find in the Mahabharata. So a great man, Vidurji was a great man, a knower of truth, in fact an embodiment of righteousness. Right. So now Yudhishthirji, sitting at the feet, he is remembering all those incidences, how Vidurji used to protect these Pandavas. And then what is the question he asks? Kaya vritya vartitam vaha charad bhikshiti mandalam tirthani kshetra mukhyani sevitani ha bhutale. Oh Father, tell us, how did you support yourself? For a long time you were not there with us. How did you support yourself? Which are the places you have visited? Please tell us in detail. Bhavad vidha bhagavataha tirtha bhuta swayam vibho tirthi kurvanti tirthani swantasthena gadabhrita. People like you, devotees like you, tirtha bhuta swayam bhuvo, swayam vibho. People like you sanctify every place wherever you go. You are an embodiment of holiness. Tirthi kurvanti tirthani. Even the tirtha kshetras, the holy places, they gain their holiness because of people like you. Why? Because swantasthena gadavrita. Because all the time in your mind you remember the Supreme Lord. Anyone who keeps on remembering the Lord, they have to be considered as Lord Himself. So when holy people like you visit some place, that place itself becomes holy. The holiness of the holy place is because of people like you. And that is also true. Place by itself has no holiness. It is only the holy people who make the place holy. Any place you go, what will you find? Rivers, trees, mud, stone, nothing else, isn't it? But then how does a place become holy? When holy people visit such place. Before the birth of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, nobody knew Dakshineshwar, isn't it? Now Dakshineshwar is considered to be a holy place, isn't it? Similarly, Kaladi in Kerala. Before Shankaracharya, nobody knew. In the same way, every place you see, that particular place has become holy, not because of itself, but because of some holy people. Now here one more point to be kept in mind is, in the beginning, a sadhaka, when his spiritual, strength has not been developed, he goes to the Tirtha Kshetras. As a sadhaka, he goes to the Tirtha Kshetras. Later on, when he becomes a Siddha, wherever he goes, that becomes a Tirtha Kshetra. Meaning what? In the beginning, as a sadhak, our mind is influenced by the surrounding. Later on, as a Siddha, we start influencing the surrounding. In the beginning, when the spiritual strength is weak, the external surroundings starts influencing our thoughts in the beginning. But later on, when the spiritual strength becomes really strong, when you become a Siddha, you start influencing the surrounding. You create a spiritual environment wherever you go. Puja Gurudev, he used to conduct open ground yajnas. The ground would be some football ground, but the moment yajna begins, it becomes Yajnashala. See the difference from the football ground to Yajnashala. Who made this difference? One person. Isn't it? Because of his talk, all the people, their minds used to become spiritual, become sattvic. When the people gathering there, all the mind becomes sattvic, that entire atmosphere becomes sattvic, it becomes holy. When people entertain noble thoughts, divine thoughts, those thoughts create its own vibration, and with that vibration, the whole place becomes sanctified. That is the meaning, tirthi kurvanti tirthani. People like you, because of your infinite love for God, you convert any place into a holy place. Beautiful concept. As a sadhaka, you are influenced by the surroundings, but as your spiritual strength grows, anywhere you are able to remember God with same devotion. Right. And then Yudhishthira asked, O Father, Vidurji, tell us, which are the places you have visited? Have you visited Dwaraka? How are our relatives there, Yadavas there? What about Bhagavan Krishna? All these questions he asked. Well, Vidurji answered many of those questions, but some of the questions he deliberately kept unanswered. Especially questions related to Yadavas. Questions related to Bhagavan. He did not answer. Why he did not answer? Because by that time, these Yadavas had fought with each other, and almost all of them, except some 4 or 5, almost all of them were dead. Even Bhagavan himself had departed to his heavenly abode. So Vidurji knew that if I tell this, they will be very sad. They will not be able to handle the sorrow. So deliberately Vidurji kept all those issues aside. He did not want to spoil that joyful mood of the Pandavas. Now Vidurji had come there for a purpose. After a few days, he remained there, receiving their love, respect, etc. Like a god, he was treated there. So much of love. He was also there, making everyone happy. And like this, some few days passed by. Now here, one verse is said. Evam griheshu saktanam pramattanam tadihaya atyakramada vijñātah kālah paramadustaraha. In this way, some few days passed. Now it is said, Evam griheshu saktanam pramattanam tadihaya. These Pandavas, griheshu saktanam, fully attached to their house. Pramattanam tadihaya, fully engrossed in their worldly responsibilities. This is what happens to any grihastha. Beware. Bhagavatam tells the truth as it is. What happens? This way Pandavas were living, fully engrossed, fulfilling their worldly responsibilities, this, that, etc. And something came unnoticed. Avijñātah. And what comes unnoticed? What comes unnoticed? Nothing but the time of death. All of us, we are so busy in the world that we forget one very, very, very important thing, a fact of life. And what is it? Death. Kālah paramadustaraha. Paramadustaraha means nobody has any sway over time. This time of death. Nobody has any control. There is nobody in this world at any time who has found a solution for this thing called death. But there was one person who was alert among all of them. Who was he? Vidurji. Vidurastadabhipretya dhritarashtrama Rajanirgamyatam shighram pashyedam bhayamagatam. He was the one person who was alert. So one day he went to Dhritarashtra and said, O Rajan, O king, get out of this house immediately. Pashya idam bhayam agatam. Death has come. Get out of this house immediately. Because what is death? Pratikriyana yasyeha kutaschit karhichit prabho sa eva bhagavan kalaha sarvesham nassamagataha. At any point of time, anywhere, nobody could find a remedy for this one problem, the problem of death. So that Bhagavan Kalaha Sarvesham Nassamagataha, it has come for all of us. Now here, death is called Lord Death, Bhagavan Kalaha. Why? Because in a way, death is very auspicious. And what is the auspicious aspect of death? It is this death which makes everyone do good things, do punya karmas. It is this death which makes everyone alert. It is this death which makes everyone fear God. It is this death which makes everyone put forth effort to get liberated. You become a moksharthi when you have fear of death. So in fact, whoever has this fear greater, he is blessed. A sensitive person cannot escape this fear of death. Ramana Maharshi realized because of the fear of death only. All Mahatmas, any time, if at all they have become Mahatmas, it was only because somewhere or the other in their life, this fear of death became very intense. So death, in a way, is very, very auspicious. Bhagavan Kalaha, it is said. So it is something like exam. When do children study hard? Suppose there is no exam at all. Will anyone study? Nobody. All the mothers know it. When the exam comes and slowly, slowly their study reaches the peak just the day before. Isn't it? If at all they had remembered this exam all through their year, how much they would have scored? Isn't it? In the same way, this fear is necessary. And this fear of death is in that way very, very auspicious. You do your sadhana regularly, intensely, every day without fail. If you can just keep this in mind, that someday or the other, Lord Death is waiting for me. Someone went to Vinoba Bhave and said, Sir, how is it that you are able to chant the name of the Lord every day, all the time? Because when I try, it's not working. But you are seen all the time chanting the name of the Lord. Vinoba Bhave just looked at him for some time and said, from the lines of your forehead, it's very clear, in the next 1 week, you are going to die. This person was shocked. He forgot his question. He went back. For 1 week, he was not seen at all. After 1 week, Vinoba Bhave remembered. He knew. After 1 week, he went to his house and there he was sitting doing japa. So then Vinobaji asked, how is it that, what did you do in this 1 week? He said, I did nothing but. Then Vinoba said, this is the secret. All the time keep death in front. You will never become inadvertent, careless, lazy. Right? In Sandipni, sometimes we are asked to meditate on death. Assume that you are dead and then people are gathered around and your dead body is being carried. This is one very nice meditation. Just watch. You are dead, your body is being taken to cremation ground. If that doesn't affect you, think of the nearest and dearest one whom you love. Imagine that he is dead and assume that he is being carried away. That will strike. It's a fact. Isn't it? Someday or the other you have to face it. Why not face every day so that I am prepared? So this technique is being adopted by Vidurji. What does he say? Yena chaivabhipannoyam pranai priyatamairapi janas sadyo viyujjeta kimutanyer dhanadibihi. Oh Rajan, this life is something which everyone loves the most. When death comes, the thing which you love the most, your own life, you have to depart. What to talk of other things? Dhanadi. Your position, your possession, your land, your wealth, what to talk of other nonsense? It is far, far away. Even your life, you have to give. That is the power of Lord Death. Vidurji was trying to wake this Dhritarashtra up. But it seems Dhritarashtra was still sleeping. So then Vidurji uses some strong doses. Now there are some few verses which it's a scathing attack. Now what does he say? Pitrubhatra sruhat putraha hataste vikatam vayah atma cha jaraya grastah parageham upasase. O king, don't you have shame? Your fathers have been dead, brothers dead, friends dead, all well-wishers dead. You yourself, you have become old and now you are staying in somebody else's house. You are staying here like a dog. Bhima is throwing rice balls at you and eating those rice balls. You are staying here shamelessly. Aho mahiyasi jantoho jivitashayaya bhavan. What a wonder. How much people love their life. What all things you have done to Pandavas. Your children try to kill them by burning them, by giving them poison. Darascha dushitaha, you try to humiliate their wife. Hritam kshetram, you usurp their kingdom. Also dhanam, their wealth. And now at their mercy you are living in their own kingdom. Tasyapi tava dehoyam kripanasya jivisho paretya nirchato jirno jaraya vasasi iva. And now you are holding on to this body. The body has already become old, but even then you don't want to leave this body. Understand, even if you hold on to this body, it is not going to last. Just like an old cloth, it will be worn out and torn. He uses some strong words. Now at this time, Dhritarashtra becomes serious. And now Vidurji sees that he is receptive. He is ready to listen to whatever he says. So therefore, Vidurji says, Gataswarthamimam deham virakto mukta bandhanah avijñādagatirjahyāt savaidhīra udāhritah yasvakat parato veha jata nirveda atmavan hridi kritva harim gehat pravrajet sanarottamah. Such a person is Narottamah, the best among men. Savai vira dhiraha, the wise person, he alone is wise. Who is he? Some indications are given. Who is the one? Viraktaha, dispassionate. Mukta bandhanaha, detached. And then Atmavan, one who has his senses under control. And then Hridi kritva harim gehat pravrajet, Holding on to the Lord, the one who leaves his house, he alone is wise. A pause here. Leaving one's house means what? So here, these instructions are meant for vanaprasthas, vanaprasthi, not for grihasthashrami. So after brahmacharya, what should come? Grihasthashrama. After grihasthashrama, what should come? It is said vanaprastha should come, but normally people are stuck with yes. So therefore some heavy doses are necessary. Bhagavatam gives certain heavy doses to eject you out of this grihasthashrama and throw you beyond into vanaprastha. So here these are the important details which a vanaprasthi must keep in mind, who are serious about spirituality. Not everyone. So what are the points? Point number 1, when do we become eligible to enter into vanaprastha? So the answer given by the Shastra is the moment you see the face of your grandchild. The moment you see the face of your grandchild, remember, be prepared for vanaprastha. Why this condition? This condition is given because now the cycle is just going to repeat. There is nothing new to learn. You have been married, a child has been born to you, you have taken care of the child, all those stages, educating them, getting them married, everything is over. Now when the grandchild is born, what is happening? The cycle is just repeating. Don't just be mechanical, going round and round the same cycle. Come out. Otherwise it will be balastavat kridasaktah, tarunastavat tarunisaktah, vriddhastavat only chintasaktah. If you want to come out of this, you have to do something different. Right? So when am I eligible to enter into vanaprastha? The moment the cycle repeats, meaning the moment I see the face of my grandchild. Now what are the preparations to be done? Now here it is said, leave your house. Remember, in those times it might be true, but in today's times, where will you go? Forest, its resources are very less. Animals are becoming extinct, so please don't do this. Only few rare animals are left. They will also die. And even if you go to forest, you will starve and die. Nothing is there to eat also. So, leaving the house only means freeing yourself from all worldly responsibilities. This is the meaning, leaving your house in this modern context. Because whenever you are a householder, lot of responsibilities come, family responsibilities, many functions you will have to attend, and for all that you will have to spend lot of time. So what are you supposed to do? Whatever responsibilities you have, just give it to your children. Bas. Let them handle the worldly responsibilities. Why this condition is kept? This condition is kept because then you will have lots and lots of time for spiritual sadhana. Right? So that is why it is said, Gehat pravrajet, not vrajet, pravrajet. Pravrajet means leave all your responsibilities to your children, at least as much as possible, so that you have lot of free time with you. So now all of you have become vanaprasthis only. Leaving your house, you have come here. Perfect vanaprasthi. Now what are you doing? All the time mind is thinking of the higher God. This is the perfect way of spending time in vanaprastha. As a grihastha you can't do this because lot of responsibilities are there. Husband is there, wife is there, children is there, profession is there, so many responsibilities are there. It is not possible. But once you have entered into vanaprastha, most of your time should be spent like this. Right? But how should I make myself serious? Point number 1, remember death. But how to remember death? Just pay attention to your old age. Bhagavan, out of his compassion, has given enough indications to tell you, my dear, you are getting old. What are the indications? The hair has become grey. It's an indication for Yamaraj. Pack up, get ready. Ears are not able to hear. It's a blessing in disguise. Nobody will disturb you. The moment you come to know this old man can't hear, you will never dare to speak to him. You have to shout at him. Even mere, isn't it? So it's a blessing in disguise that the ear is not able to hear. Then, but what do we do? We put an earphone. That is not needed. That craving for the world is still there. That is the meaning, this earphone. I want to hear so many things. Why do you want to hear? You have heard enough. Now listen to God who is within. For that, this ear is not necessary. The eyesight is gone. Let it go. There is nothing to see in this world. Teeth have fallen. Yes, you have eaten everything. Now one soup will do. Your digestive power is also not there. Why do you want to unnecessarily eat so many things? When the digestive power is gone, Bhagavan, out of compassion, take away your teeth. See? Isn't it? Everything, Bhagavan, such a wonderful planner he is. All face full of wrinkles. It's good. It's again a blessing. You can't sit properly, you can't stand properly, every joint is paining. It means sit quietly in a place and take the name of the Lord. Don't run around. When your children are going for picnic, don't say, I am also coming. Isn't it? Bhagavan, out of compassion, is trying to make you more introvert, but you are not willing. Isn't it? So this is what you have to do in Vanaprastha. Give up all responsibilities. Take one room. Make it your puja room. This is all what you have to do. In Vanaprastha, spend more and more time for God. So number 1, remember death every day. Let him not come as a sudden visitor, unexpected visitor. Even when he comes, you should say, yeah, please come. I was waiting for you only. You must welcome death like Bhishma Pitama. Point number 1, old age, let it remind you of death. Meditate on each and every weak limbs, failing limbs. Meditate on it. Say, God, this is the truth. I don't want this life anymore. Enough. Thus, develop what? Virakti, this is the term used, virakta. Develop dispassion. And then, mukta bandha, so many relationships are there. Develop a healthy detachment from everyone. So that at the time of death, the mind is available for God and God alone and nothing else. The more and more you hold on to this world, the more and more painful it will be while you leave this world. It is said that the Jivatma after death, if he is very much attached to that place, he remains there only as a preta. Yes. So the points to be remembered, these are for Vanaprasthis. Huh? If as a Grihasthashrami you can practice it, very good, if you can. So the first one, remember death. Second one, let the old age remind you of death. Third one, be dispassionate, viraktaha. Fourth one, mukta bandhanaha, be free from all kinds of bondage, attachments. Develop a healthy detachment. Healthy detachment means what? Children are there, grandchildren are there, you have a very good relationship also, but at the back of the mind you know, one day will come when I will have to leave everyone and go. There is a saint called Ekanath Ishwaran. So his grandmother was his guru. So when he was a child, grandmother said, "My dear child, now hold on to this chair. I am going to pull you out." So this child held on to the chair. And now grandmother was really strong. She pulled him out of the chair. "How do you feel?" "Oh, it's paining everywhere." "Okay. Now sit in the chair." "No, don't hold anywhere. When I just pull you, just come along with me." He just came. "Now how do you feel?" "There is no pain." My dear child, learn this lesson. If you hold on to this world, when the death comes and snatches you, it will be very painful. So even while living, remain detached. Then there will not be any pain. This is a lesson. Right? Mukta Sangaha. And then, Gehat Pravrajet. Next point. Gehat Pravrajet means what? Relinquish all your responsibilities. Don't poke your nose into the affairs of your children. That is a clear meaning. This is a very bad habit of all these old people. They unnecessarily interfere into the affairs of their children. Say they are confident of taking care of their life, their children, etc. Why do you unnecessarily interfere? Remember, if you want peace at home, never advise unless asked. Old age homes are multiplying only because of this. This old man cannot keep quiet. And because he has no other work, because he is retired, he interferes into every business and creates problem everywhere. So then the children say, "Babaji, we'll send you to old age home. Okay, we'll take care of all the expenses, etc. You be there. You are also peaceful, we are also peaceful." All these problems are because you have not learned how to live life. As an old man, when you are at home, you be peaceful, you make others also peaceful. If you yourself you are disturbed, you will give only disturbance, free of supply to everyone. Isn't it? If I want to give peace, I must have peace. And the only way of gaining peace is hold on to God. Now this old man, other than that, everything he does. Right? In all families, this is the problem. So what is to be done? Gehat Pravrajet. Gehat Pravrajet means not running away anywhere. You don't have to do that. Remain in your own home. Slowly keep a distance. Give all responsibilities to them. Don't interfere in their affair. They will commit some blunders. Doesn't matter. That's how everyone learns. That's how we also have learned. Everyone learns by committing mistake. Let them commit mistake. If at all they come for some advice, you give your advice. But don't insist that your advice has to be implemented. That also is bad. It's all your ego only. Give your advice and keep quiet. Be with yourself. Now the technology also has come. So many CDs are available. Mahatmas are there. In the TV also you get so many talks and programs, spiritual programs. Somehow or the other, keep your mind ever engaged in divine pursuits. This is how the old age should be spent. Not in front of TV. Listening to all junk news. Reading newspaper. Filling your head with junk. When the head is filled with junk, only junk comes out of your tongue also. Junk in, junk out. Isn't it? As you become old, become serious about life. The take-off time has come. The engine should start and it should take off. Otherwise you will remain in the runway only. Right. I'm sorry, Bhagavatam is Bhagavatam. The plain facts are told as it is. Right. Now when Dhritarashtra heard all this, he really felt, yes, whatever my younger brother is telling is absolutely right. So then he decided, yes. So now for the elder brother, younger brother becomes the guru. Now he was receptive, he was ready to do anything, whatever Vidurji was telling. So therefore, Vidurji gave this advice. What is the advice? Atho dichim disham yato svairajñātagatir bhavan itor vak prayasha kalaha pumsam gunavikarshanaha. O my dear elder brother, O king, now do one thing. Go towards the northern direction, towards the Himalayas. How? Svaira ajñātagatir bhavan. Don't tell this to anyone else. Don't inform where you are going. Without inform anyone, just go towards Himalayas. Why Himalayas? Himalayas are the place where Rishi Munis do tapas, etc. You get lot of satsang when you go to Himalayas. Mahatmas stay there. Meaning what? In the old age, you must spend more and more time in satsang. And now Vidurji clearly mentions, O king, from now on the times are going to be very bad. All the virtues in mankind is going to disappear. He was indicating about Kali Yuga. From now on the times are going to be very bad. So now itself you leave. And did Dhritarashtra listen to it? Yes. So all the three of them, Vidurji, Dhritarashtra and his wife Gandhari, they leave towards Himalayas. Patim prayantam subalasya putri pativrata chanu jagama sadhvi Himalayam nyastadanda praharsham manasvinamiva satsam praharaha. So all of them, without informing anyone, they left towards the northern direction. That Himalayas where so many Sant Mahatmas, they stay there doing tapas. That Himalaya which is a delight for all Mahatmas. Just like a fierce battle is a delight for any courageous warrior. This is the comparison. That Himalayas which is a delight for Mahatmas. Normally for worldly people it's not a delight. For 1 or 2 hours it's okay, but then everything is loneliness only. For Mahatmas, being alone is full of joy. Why is it? Because when you are alone, you are not actually alone, you are with God. Yes. So now all of them end. Next day, Ajatashatru, Yudhishthira, he comes. So he used to, after doing Sandhya Vandana, after doing Agnihotra, etc., giving the Dana, Dakshina, etc. to the Brahmanas. So he came to Dhritarashtra's palace because that was his routine. So after Sandhya Vandana, etc., he used to go to Dhritarashtra, prostrate unto him, get his blessing, and then only he used to go to his palace. So when he went to his palace, he found nobody was there. Dhritarashtra is not there, Vidurji is not there, Gandhari is not there, only Sanjaya was there. So naturally he asked Sanjaya, what happened? Where are our fathers? Now Yudhishthira started fearing when nobody was seen, and Sanjaya was also seated there, very sad. So something had happened, he knew. So then he started wondering, did I tell something wrong? From my part, did I do anything wrong because of which Dhritarashtra, my father, felt bad? And because of which he might have committed suicide, jumping into Ganga. These are the fears which comes in Yudhishthira's mind. See the greatness of this man. He will never blame anyone else. He will always blame himself. When Dhritarashtra was not found, he did not think any other way. Where is this old man? No. He was thinking, maybe I have committed something wrong because of which they have left. The same thing happened in earlier also. After the war, he was blaming himself only. Because of me, so many people died, he was telling. This is the characteristics of noble people. Whenever something goes wrong, he will not say, he is wrong, she is wrong. What will he say? I am wrong. This is a sign. When there is no peace in the family, everybody is busy blaming somebody else. Isn't it? The really wise people, what do? They try to find fault with themselves. This is the true sign of wisdom. True sign of greatness is whenever something goes wrong, always look within. Have I gone wrong somewhere? This is the greatness of Yudhishthira. So he was wondering, Sanjaya was also in tears. He was not able to answer him because he was choked with emotion. Later he says, wiping his tears, O king, even they have not informed even me also where they have gone. At that time, when they were wondering what has happened to them, where have they gone? At that time what happens? Bhagavan Narada Rishi comes there, playing on his veena. Now comes the Narada Upadesha to Yudhishthira. That portion we will see tomorrow. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyanto Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.